create a tension in the community. That a community that has constantly refused to negotiate is forced to confront the issue through peaceful negotiation. Direct action seeks to dramatize the issue to the extent that it can no longer be ignored. I have earnestly worked and preached against violent protest, but there's a type of constructive, non-violent tension that is necessary for growth and change. Surely you must see that through non-violent demonstrations, we can create the kind of tension in society that will help men rise from the dark depths of prejudice and racism to the majestic heights of understanding and brotherhood.
Does Dr. King really believe that this whole nightmare will ever end? Does he really believe we can be free with whites?
We'll never be free of them.
Or maybe one day we can live together.
Never.
One day we will. One day we'll see one of our people with theirs, working together, side by side, helping instead of hurting, building instead of fighting, and laughing instead of crying. One day we will live in peace.
We know that through painful experience, that freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor. For years now I've heard the words wait. This wait, however, has always meant never. We must come to see that justice too long delayed is justice denied. We have waited more than 340 years for our constitutional and God-given rights. The nations of Asia and Africa are moving with jet-like speed toward the goal of political independence. And yet we still creep along in horse and buggy pace toward the gaining of a cup of coffee at a lunch counter. I guess it is easy for those who have never felt the stinging darts of segregation to say, wait.
I got a visitor for 6125.
That's me.
The boy's here to see you. You got 5 minutes. And he's out.
Come here, son. Did you make it home okay?
Mama, what are you doing in here? Why are you locked up like a criminal?
How are you, son? It's all gonna be okay.
No, it's not, Mama. It's not going to be okay. What are we supposed to do? Jimmy's hungry. I'm hungry. It's not okay.
I know. I'm sorry. But I'm sure they'll let me out soon, and then I'll be home.
Mama, what did you do wrong? Why are you in here?
I'm trying to make a difference. I'm trying to make things better for you. I don't want you to have to live like this. I want something better for you.
Just you wait, Mama. When I get older, I'm going to make things better. I'm going to make them listen to me. I'm going to make them get right.
No, baby. Shh. You just hustle now. I'm going home. I'll be out as soon as I can. I promise.
I've got a visitor here for 1121.
That's me.
The little girl's here to see you. You got 5 minutes. Here
Mom!
she's out.
Mom! Let her come see me, please! How you doing, sweetheart? Are you okay?
Mom, what happened? Why are you in jail? And when are you coming home?
Soon, I hope.
I hope so. I missed you.
Oh, don't cry, sweetie. Don't cry. I'll be home soon. I promise.
But I want you to come home.
I know. When I get home, we'll do something special. I promise. Really? Anything. You name it, and we'll do it.
Could we go to Funtown?
Sure, sweetheart. We can go to Funtown.
Really, Mama? Oh, thank you, Mom. Thank you, thank you.
You better go now, sweetheart. Go to your aunt's house. She'll take care of you.
Can't wait to go to Funtown with you.
I love you, sweetheart.
I love you too, Mom.
You can't take your daughter to Funtown. Funtown's for whites only. You know the rules.
I had to tell her something.
I can't understand you people. Lying to your children like that?
I don't understand how you can keep our children from happiness. If we got money, how come we can't go to your stupid fun town? We are not slaves anymore. We are mothers and fathers just like you. And we love our children too.
You suddenly find your tongue twisted and your speech stammering. As you seek to explain to your daughter why she can't go to the public amusement park she's just seen advertised on television. You see the tears welling up in her eyes when she is told that Funtown is closed to colored children. You see the depressing clouds of inferiority begin to form in her mental sky. You see her begin to distort that mental sky by unconsciously developing a bitterness toward white people. You have to concoct an answer for your teenage son, asking in agonizing pathos, "Mama, why do white people treat colored people so awfully?" You are humiliated day in and day out by nagging signs that read white and colored. You have seen vicious mobs lynch your mothers and fathers at will and drown your sisters and brothers at will. You have seen hate-filled policemen curse, kick, brutalize, and even kill your black brothers and sisters. There comes a time when the cup of endurance runs over, and men are no longer willing to be plunged into an abyss of injustice where they experience the blackness of corroding despair. I hope, sirs, you can understand our legitimate and unavoidable impatience.
Will we ever be free?
Someday we'll be free. Someday.
Someday ain't soon enough.
It has to be.
It can't be. We need action now. We can't wait for it to come to us. We have to demand it and take it. We have to be in control.
But how? There's nothing we could do.
There is a way.
It sure ain't your way.
But it's Dr. King's way. And Dr. King will see us through.
But when? When will it happen? I want to see it work now.
There is no other way.
Then we'll have to fight.
Your hate will destroy you.
My hate is what helps me to survive.
There are two types of laws. There are just laws and there are unjust laws. How does one determine when a law is just or unjust? A just law is a man-made code that squares with moral law or the law of God. An unjust law is a code that is out of harmony with moral law. For instance, any law that uplifts the human personality is just. Conversely, any law that degrades human condition and damages the personality is unjust. All segregation statutes are unjust because segregation distorts the soul and damages the personality. I hope you can see the distinction I'm trying to point out. In no sense do I advocate evading or defying the law as the rabid segregationists would do. This would lead to anarchy. One who breaks an unjust law must do it openly, lovingly, and with the willingness to accept the penalty. I submit that an individual who breaks a law that conscience tells him is unjust and willingly accepts the penalty by staying in jail to arouse the conscience of the community over its injustice is in reality expressing the very highest respect for law.
How can any law be just if it's made by white people?
If the law is moral and good,
I don't believe any of that. He's just a lawbreaker like the rest of us.
He only breaks the bad laws.
Well, so do I.
You don't listen, do you?
I've heard all I need to.
So, why is Dr. King in here anyways? What did he do?
I don't know. Let's ask. Hey, Mr. Policeman. Excuse me, sir.
What do you want?
I got a question.
What?
Why is Dr. King in here?
Got a prayer without a permit.
That's it?
It's enough.
They didn't want to hear what Dr. King had to say. That's all.
They sure have some dumb laws, don't they?
We can never forget that everything Hitler did in Germany was legal. And it was illegal to aid and comfort a Jew in Hitler's Germany. But I'm sure if I had been in Germany during that time, I would have aided and comforted my Jewish brothers, even though it was illegal. I believe I would openly advocate disobeying that law. I must make a confession to you, my Christian and Jewish brothers. I must confess that over the last few years, I've been gravely disappointed with the white moderates. I've almost reached a regrettable conclusion that the Negro's greatest stumbling block in the stride toward freedom is not the white citizens' counselor or the Ku Klux Klaner. It is the white moderate. It is the white moderate who's more devoted to order than to justice, who constantly says, I agree with you in the goal you seek, but I cannot agree with your methods of direct action. It is the white moderate who paternalistically feels that he can set the timetable for another man's freedom. It is the white moderate who constantly advises the Negro to wait until a more convenient season. This is nothing but shallow understanding from a people of ill will. Lukewarm acceptance is much more bewildering than outright rejection.
White people are never going to help us. If white Christians won't stand up for our cause, how can we ever expect other white people to help us? White people will never come to our aid.
Sounds not too hell.
I haven't seen many.
Believe me, they are out there.
Maybe I've expected too much from the white moderates. I guess I should have realized that few members of a race that is oppressed another race can understand or appreciate the deep groans and passionate yearnings of those who have been oppressed. And still fewer have the vision to see that injustice must be rooted out by strong, persistent, determined action. I am thankful, however, that some of our white Christian brothers have grasped the meaning of the social revolution and have committed themselves to it. The numbers, however, are still small, all too small in quantity. They are big in quality. They have marched with us down nameless streets of the South. They have languished and built their roach-infested jails, suffering the brutality of angry policemen. They, unlike so many of their modern brothers and sisters, have recognized the urgency of the moment and have sensed the need for powerful action, which is the only antidote to combat this disease called segregation. I'm writing you today because I feel I must turn my faith to the inner spiritual church, the church within the church, as the true ecclesia and hope of the world. I'm thankful to God that some of the noble souls from the ranks of organizing religion have broken loose from the paralyzing chains of conformity and have joined us as active partners in our pursuit of freedom. Yes, they have gone to jail with us. Some of them have even been kicked out of their churches. They have gone with faith. These men and women have been the leaven and the lump. They have carved a tunnel of hope through the dark mountain of disappointments. I have no fear about the outcome of our struggle here in Birmingham, even if our methods are presently misunderstood. We will reach the goal of freedom in Birmingham and all over this nation, because the goal of America is freedom. Abused and scorned though we may be, our destiny is tied with the destiny of every American.
I'm not American. as it is theirs. As long as God is in heaven, America belongs to everyone.
We're from Africa. We don't belong here.
They're from Europe. We've been here just as long as they have.
The first Americans weren't white anyways. They were Indian. America doesn't belong to white people either. Then how come we are treated like we don't belong here? Because we're slaves in their eyes.
Then we have to show them we're something more.
Now was the time to lift our national policy from the quicksands of racial injustice to the solid rock of human dignity. Oppressed people cannot remain oppressed forever. The urge for freedom will eventually come. This is what has happened to the American Negro. Something within has reminded him of his birthright of freedom, and something without has reminded him that he can gain it.
Freedom! 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 Freedom!
Sir,
What is it?
what about our dinner? It's late tonight.
It ain't coming at all now.
Now you sit here and be quiet, or there'll be more of us.
You guys aren't gonna get off so easy next time.
That is your America. That's the only America we'll ever see. No, that's yours.
I don't believe you'd be so quickly to commend the policemen if you were to observe the ugly and inhumane treatment of Negroes here in the city jail. You observe them push and slap on Negro women and young Negro boys. You've watched them punch and kick young Negro boys and old Negro women. You observed them as they did on 2 occasions, refuse to give us food. I'm sorry I cannot join you in your praise for the police department.
Do you think that we will ever win?
I don't know.
Will it only get worse?
Things will change. They have to. Our time has come.
But how long will it take? I feel like I've been waiting forever. I want to see it happen before I die.
Me too, bro. Me too.
Never before have I written a letter so long. And I'm afraid it's much too long for you to take your precious time to read. But I can assure you it would have been much shorter if I'd been writing from a comfortable desk. But what else is there to do when you're alone for days in the dull monotony of a narrow jail cell? Except for write long letters, think strange thoughts, and pray long prayers. If I've said anything in this letter, that is an overstatement of the truth, and is indicative of my having an unreasonable impatience. I beg you forgive me. If I've said anything in this letter, that is an understatement of the truth, and is indicative of my having a patience for anything less than brotherhood. I beg God to forgive me. And so, even though we face the difficulties of the day and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It's a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day, on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they are not judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. And so let freedom ring. And when this happens, when we allow freedom ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, thank God Almighty, we are free at last.